Yo, what's going on, man? Today is December the 16th. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Bunch of games on the board for today. We'll do a quick recap as we always do, and then we'll jump straight into it for today, man. A lot of games on the board. To be honest with you guys, I did not go through every game. There's one spot that I absolutely love. Not sure. I don't really love the card, if I'm being honest with you guys. Don't love the card, but we'll jump into it. We'll do some live breakdowns of the games as well. So let's just do that. Yesterday, one official play for me was the Washington Wizards team total under 107.5, 108.5. They didn't touch 100 points yesterday, as we kind of expected against the Boston Celtics. Also, short list was green yesterday. Minnesota, I actually just forgot the game was about to start. I like to make sure the starting lineups and stuff were going to be good. But Minnesota minus the 4.5 was an easy winner. Minnesota first half minus the 2 was an easy winner. They did take that game super serious. Trey Murphy under his rebounds, he finished with 6, so 6.5 was a winner. Mo Wagner over his 4.5 rebounds was a winner. It might have been one more, but a lot of winners yesterday. Lots and lots of winners yesterday. So hopefully the show was helpful for you guys to make some money. Just 1-0 for myself, but Sunday actually felt good. Felt good on a Sunday. So let's go through a couple of the comments real quick, and then we'll jump into the games. What up, King Predictions says, yo, Chris. Fear Elite says, in here early and ready to get to the money this morning. What up, fam? What up, Fear Elite? Mark in here. Mark always rocking with me. Says, good morning, Chris and good people. Gina says, good morning, Chris and crew. Cash the 4-leg parlay using your information. I appreciate it. Let's cash today. Love to hear that. Prolific says he had a 3-0 weekend. Nice. Small, slow and steady. Prolific says, not going super crazy. Just give him 3 plays for the weekend. He'll cash all 3. Love to hear that. My guy LJ in here. What up, LJ? Hope all is well with you down in Houston. Tomorrow says, what up? Cashed on the Blazers with the Suns fade trend yesterday you posted. It was a super strong trend. Glad you cashed tomorrow. Looked like they were going to win the game. I was watching it late. Looked like they were going to come back and win the game. It was some Tyus Jones last night that actually helped them win. Hit a couple big threes. Nurkic played well. Moneyball says 125, 113 Raptors. We ain't talking about that game yet. What up, PZ? Good morning, Merrill. TV Grid says, great morning. Great day of betting. Winning weekend. Thanks for all you do, Chris. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for sure. What up to my guy, Sean? Says he went 6-8 Sunday. Nice. Love to hear that. What up to my guy, Justin, in the chat as well. Charles in here pulling up on us. All right, let's jump into it for today. So, we'll start off with jaXon, as we always do. I was interested to know what jaXon thought about the Nets and the Cavs total. We know we know that Schroeder is now gone, so that's what I asked jaXon about today. And for people that are interested in signing up with jaXon, there is a 50% promo code in the description of the video, so you guys be sure to check that out if you're interested at all. So for today's game, key things to consider: recent trends. The Cavs are one of the highest scoring teams in the NBA, averaging 121.2 points per game, which ranks second in the NBA. They also lead the league in field goal percentage above 50% and three-point percentage at 39.9. Their offensive efficiency makes them a strong contributor to high-scoring games. The Nets, on the other hand, average 110.4 points per game, which ranks in the bottom half of the league. They've struggled offensively, especially after trading Dennis Schroeder, which hasn't happened yet. They haven't played a game without him. And with Cam Thomas out due to injury. In their last matchup on November the 9th, the total was set at 220, and the game ended with a combined 205 points. The game went under, largely due to the Nets slowing the pace and limiting the Cavs' offensive opportunities. Defensive metrics. The Cavs are solid defensively, allowing 111.2 points per game, which ranks 11th in the NBA. They also hold opponents to the eighth lowest field goal percentage. The Nets allow 114.7 points per game, which ranks 27th in defensive efficiency. Their defense has been inconsistent and been struggling to contain high-powered offenses like Cleveland. Pace of play. The Cavs play at a slow pace, ranking 22nd in possessions per game. This could limit the total number of scoring opportunities. The Nets rank 19th in pace, which is slightly faster, but still not enough to significantly push the tempo against a disciplined Cavs team. Injuries. The Nets are missing key players like Cam Thomas and Bojan Bogdanovic, which further limits their offensive potential. The Cavs are mostly healthy, with Evan Mobley ankle listed as probable. His presence will bolster the defense and rebounding. Recommendation, I lean towards the under 219.5 for the full game. Here's why. Cavs defense, I already read all that. I'm not reading it over again. Nets offensive struggles without Cam Payne and Cam Thomas and Dennis Schroeder. They lack consistent scoring, averaging just 108 points per game in their last 10. Head-to-head history, the last matchup between the two teams totaled 205 points, well under tonight's total. The Nets successfully slowed the pace down. Likely try to replicate that strategy. If you're looking to bet it, grab 219 minus 115 on ESPN Bet is jaXon's recommendation. So I was kind of interested in that total today. I don't know if I like it. I think I do like under, but we'll talk about it. Let's jump into the matchups for today. First one we got up is the Philadelphia 76ers. They will be in Charlotte again. These two teams just played against each other. This was the game I was kind of breaking down. I did get through a little bit of this game last night, but the injury report kind of kept me off of wanting to make a play early in this game. This line opened, I think it was 3. It went down to I think 2.5, 1, and now it's back up to 3. It was some movement because LaMelo could potentially return in this game for people who don't know. So on the Philadelphia side, you got Bonner, who's out. Joel Embiid got a sinus, he out. Caleb Martin remains out. And for people who don't know, Jared McCain is also out as well. Big injury for the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, this is already a team that was dealing with some injuries. Now you just add, 3 more starters to the injury list with no Embiid, no Martin, no McCain. That's going to hurt, in my opinion. On the Charlotte side, Miles Bridges did come back, I think, in the last game. Mark Williams is back now. He's starting. And Josh Green and Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball could potentially return, is what I said in this game. Trey Mann is the only person that's going to be out in this game. So that shakes things up a lot, in my opinion, with LaMelo potentially being questionable in this game. I know he could have. I think I read something that said he could have played in the last game. That intrigues the hell out of me. I'm not sure what to do with the game if he does play. Now, the last time we saw Philly play, they lost on Friday night. They were laying, 5.5, 6.5 points against the Indiana Pacers, lost that game outright. Could not stay in front of Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton was hitting threes. They were pushing pace. Charlotte team plays a little bit different than that, though. Charlotte plays slow, kind of grinded out. We just saw these two teams play as well. Let's see. When did they play? They played. Let's go through it real quick. No, it was like less than 2 weeks ago. It was on the 3rd. The day is the 16th. So played 13 days ago. Charlotte did win that game 110-104. Joel Embiid didn't play. Philly was laying 5.5, won the game by 6. I was on Charlotte in this game now that I think about it. And they got that late layup that should not have. Oh, man, I'll never forget that. Never mind. You know what? It's cool. This is power through, Chris. I remember them getting that late layup in that game that pass shouldn't have been thrown, though. I think it was Josh Green who threw a terrible pass trying to force the ball to Brandon Miller. Anyway, in that game, Joel Embiid did not play. Tyrese Maxey had 21 points, 7 assists I'm looking at. Paul George had 29 points, 8 assists in that game. Jared McCain was big in that game. He had 17 points, 2 steals. 17 points and 2 steals, hit 3 of his 4 3-pointers. So that doesn't bode well. Kelly Oubre also will be back playing against his former team. He had 14 points, hit 4-5 from the 3-point line in that game as well. And on the Charlotte side, they were down bad in that game. They started Nick Richards at center. Didn't have Brandon Miller, of course. Didn't have LaMelo Ball. Also didn't have Miles Bridges in that game. So and Mark Williams only played 8 minutes. He's going to be big in this game. I think when I go through it real quick, let's just look at this. I kind of feel like Charlotte can win this game outright. Just thinking about, and I'm going to try to be quick because I don't want to stay on this game for too long. But one thing I know about Philly and what I wrote in my notes is they've had an offensive rating of 106 or less in 3 straight games. This offense is just not clicking. They have been a really good defensive team outside of the game against the Pacers. Defense have been playing really good. But I don't know if I want to trust them laying too many points on the road here. I bet Charlotte last time that didn't work out well for me. But with no McCain, no Embiid, with the Charlotte Hornets being one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the NBA, I think that they can keep this game close. I feel like Philly's not a great rebounding team. Let's just put some numbers to that. So last 5 games, Philly is 18th, about middle of the pack in offense. ninth best offensive rebounding team. Charlotte giving up the sixth fewest offensive rebounds. That's the thing that they do well. And Charlotte hasn't been great defensively, but I do think some of that they're due to kind of regress and to be a little bit better, positively regress in my opinion. Charlotte's defense. Charlotte's offense has struggled. 107 points per 100 possessions, 50% effective field goal percentage. They are 27th in turnover rate. You don't like that if you like Charlotte, because Philly is forcing the 8th most turnovers over the last 5 games. Charlotte's 6th in offensive rebounding rate, both offensively and defensively. Philadelphia is 18th in offensive rebound rate. I feel like that number is going to go down without Embiid, though. Charlotte also getting to the line 13th most as far as frequency. Philly's offense is not doing anything great. They are second in rim frequency, but I don't think they're going to be able to score on Mark Williams and Nick Richards today. I can see that, not working out well. They're going to have to get high from the three-point line, in my opinion. They're not shooting. They're not scoring in the paint. Three-point shooting is bottom 5. And Charlotte's defense is pretty bad, specifically from the three-point line. But I kind of feel like they've been playing against some really good three-point shooting teams. I know that they just played Chicago. They're a top 5 three-point shooting team. I think they played Cleveland one time recently. They're a top 5 three-point shooting team. Philly is not a good three-point shooting team. Let's see. Philly isn't pushing the pace. They're 23rd in frequency, 22nd in points scored per 100 possessions. Charlotte's been doing a good job of getting back on defense. And then if we flip this and look at Charlotte, let's see. If we look at Charlotte offensively versus Philly defensively, let's see. All right, so Charlotte, bottom 5 offense. Like I said, they are turning the ball over a lot, which does not bode well for them because Philly is 8th in turnover rate on defense. Charlotte is attacking the rim, 9th in rim frequency. The 76ers not well. This matchup reminds me of, now that I'm looking at it, it reminds me a little bit of Lakers versus the Grizzlies last night. Remember I said if you watched the show yesterday, I said if you like the Lakers, you love Anthony Davis in this spot because the Grizzlies, as well as they have been playing 9-1 straight up, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, they were not protecting the rim well at all their last 5 games. And that's what we saw. Anthony Davis had 40 points last night. So, that kind of makes sense in this matchup. I don't feel like Philly is going to be able to protect the rim. They're 21st in rim frequency, 25th in rim accuracy, whereas Charlotte, that's what they've been doing, attacking the rim. 9th in rim frequency over their last 5 games. Not scoring a lot at the rim, but without Embiid, when you just got Drummond out there and no got Bona, I'm not laying points for Philly. I kind of feel like it's Charlotte or nothing in this spot. Don't like that they turned the ball over. With LaMelo back, that should help. I know he's going to be on a minutes restriction. I think he's missed like the last 7 games. Charlotte also not pushing the pace. They're actually the slowest paced team as far as transition frequency last 5 games, but Philly's defense has been god awful, which is why they lost against the Pacers. They're 22nd in opponent transition frequency and 30th in opponent points scored per 100 possessions via transition bucket. So I really want to. I probably grab the points right here if I had to play the game. I don't think I'm laying with Philly. Don't think I'm laying with Philly. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. We'll keep it moving. LaMelo over his 23 points. Merrill says, we got Melo lines already? I didn't even know Melo was out. Okay. Good morning, Kilian says, let's get to work. He's starting with Cade over his 40.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We're going to talk about that game. That's the game I actually like a little bit more than anything else. Marquis says, I'm taking the Sixers team total under here in this spot, and I could not talk you off. They have not been a good offense. Right now, that team total, you can get a 109.5 right now. I do think if Philly wins this game, it's going to be with defense and not with offense. I think we see some positive regression here for Charlotte defensively. Defensively, like I said, they've been terrible. But if you like this, Marquise, you need LaMelo back, in my opinion, because without him, you got Micic out there, but you don't have a secondary point guard, which is why Charlotte's been turning the ball over at the 4th highest rate over the last 5 games. So Philly team total under 109.5 looks like best number right now is available on FanDuel. Just 10 cent of juice there. So I see this down to 108.5 on a couple other books. BetMGM also got they got minus 115 though. So I can see that, Marquise. Okay. Dropping Dime says if Ball plays, give him Hornets team total over 106.5. Okay. Ball over his points, Lingowick says. Mark says, I'm thinking under, but going to wait for Melo news. I can see that. Tomorrow says, I think Wendell McCain will impact the Sixers more than people think. I agree. He said he was a scoring spark off the bench, and I agree with that. Tomorrow, I was actually looking into this. I don't want to change what I got pulled up on the screen, but I was looking into this last night. I just didn't write it down. Did I write it down? I don't think so. Also, I'll say this: Bridges is on a minutes restriction as well. He says, "quote I wrote this in my notes. I would probably say like 2 more games when asked if he would be back to 100% with the game conditioning. I'm on a minutes restriction right now, but it's good. I'm just going to keep working towards it, keep progressing," is what he said. So to put some numbers real quick to what Tomorrow said in the chat, because I also agree with this, Jared McCain has really helped this offense out a lot. When I went through and looked at it, with him on the floor, they have an offensive rating of, they're scoring 111.2 points per 100 possessions. So offensive rating of about 111 points per 100 possessions for Jared McCain on the floor. With him off the floor, that comes down to 104.4. So they're scoring 7 fewer points per 100 possessions. I like this Tomorrow. And with what Marquise is saying here, these two kind of line up in my opinion. Sean says, I feel like it's a Hornets spot as well. Yeah, it's Hornets plus the points and Philly team total under, I think. What's up, Jose? Thoughts on PG? I don't really have any. He played well in the last game. Remember I said this in the last game, Brandon Miller, really, that's his GOAT, Paul George, weirdly enough. But yeah, so if you like Brandon Miller, couldn't talk you off in this spot either. He will play the most minutes between LaMelo and what's the guy named? LaMelo and Miles Bridges for people that are interested. Miller versus Paul should be for good props. PG over is 4.5 assists, Maurice says. What up? Brian says, I'm watching from Cali right now, 4:55 a.m. Appreciate you, Brian. Appreciate you for tapping in. Justin says, not betting the 76ers game until further notice. Yeah, I can't get – I mean, it's just so – the one thing I will say, though, Justin, is that they have been so inconsistent on the offensive – not inconsistent. They've been consistently poor on the offensive end. The Sixers were playing really good defense. It was like 5 straight games they had covered, but it was against Orlando, a slow-paced team that doesn't have a lot of offense, twice, and both of those games was in Philly. They also beat it was like 4 teams that they had covered against. Charlotte was one of the teams as well, which they shouldn't have covered. Adam says, what up, Chris? I really like the Cavs Nets. We'll talk about that game in a second. Not going to read that. I have a homie of 30-plus years who lives in Philly. I told him 76 is going to friend shit. Alex likes the Hornets plus 3.5. Bane assists, finished with 7. Glad you cashed that Blue Magic. What up, TJ says, what do you think about the under in this game? I think you got to wait on the LaMelo news, but Philly team total under 109.5 seems like it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. Seems like it makes a lot of sense. Let's keep it pushing. Next game up, I spent way too much time on that game, but like I said, I hadn't really dove into it too much. This was a game that I did kind of dive into. And this is actually my favorite play on the board. Haven't locked it in. If I do play it, it'll probably be a smaller play. But I think that let's see, I put a comma instead of a period. I think that the Miami Heat are the right side today. Might sound a little square. I think that they are the right side today, though. The Miami Heat are. So if we just kind of look at the matchup here, we got injury report. Tobias Harris is out for the Detroit Pistons. He was listed out yesterday. I think everybody else should be good to go for Detroit. Yeah, just him. And then on the Miami side, just Jovic, who will miss this game. Josh Richardson hasn't really played much. He also will be out for this game. So Miami should come in here pretty healthy. You got them at 13-10 versus a Pistons team that's 10-16. So what I like for Miami in this game, first and foremost, I'll just point it out. The last time these two teams played, if you guys remember how that game went, it was a cup game. The Miami Heat lost the game 123-121 in overtime with Eric Spoelstra calling that late timeout. Remember Jalen Rose looked up like that. This was that game. I think that is enough, honestly, to bet Miami. This line opened at 3.5 in favor of Miami. It's up to 5. There's a 4.5 right now on ESPN Bet. Actually, one of my favorite looks today. Detroit has these two teams have already played twice. Detroit's covered both spreads so far this season. Miami beat them 106-98 in Miami to start the season off. We were on Detroit plus 8.5 in that spot. They barely covered. I think it was a Tim Hardaway Jr. late three to keep it within 8. Thank God for him for that. And then Detroit did cover plus 1.5 in the cup game when these two teams played earlier. Tyler Hero went bananas. I remember watching the fourth quarter. Tyler Hero hit, I think, 4 or 5 threes in the fourth quarter to force the game to go to overtime. And then once it got to overtime, it was a tie game. And then Eric Spoelstra called the timeout with no timeouts left. Of course, my Detroit went to the free throw line, ended up hitting both free throws. If we look at recent form, the Miami Heat are playing much better basketball here. They've won 4 straight. They've covered 3 of their last 4 games. Lost to Boston, lost to Toronto, but then they beat the Lakers, smoked them, beat Phoenix, smoked them, beat Cleveland, smoked them, beat Toronto, but didn't cover, laying 10.5 points. Didn't cover that game by half a point. But this is one of the better offensive teams. They've scored 121 points or more in 3 of their last 4 games. Detroit kind of going the opposite way, man. 3-7 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. They're 7-3 to the over because defensively they've been really, really bad, specifically at the 3-point line, which is where Miami likes to, get their money. So I will say this: strength of schedule wise, Detroit has been playing against some really, really good teams. When I look at Detroit, they got smoked against Boston. We were on the over in that game. They shot 21%, something real gross and nasty from the 3-point line to keep us from going up and over the total. Total still almost ended up going up and over, but that total ended up at 225, ended up at 221. They couldn't score the basketball from the 3-point line, just a bunch of bricks. So they got beat up against Boston, lost that game by 24. They did beat the Knicks outright in the Garden, but before that, they also got beat up by Boston by 10. And then the Bucks, of course, beat them in the Cup game. So they have played some really, really tough opponents. Boston, New York, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly when Philly was playing well, Pacers, Grizzlies. They have had a really, really difficult strength of schedule. They've been off for, 3 days? So had some time to kind of clean things up. But I don't know, man. I just kind of feel like Miami's the right side in this game. I kind of feel like they should be able to score the ball pretty much, however they want. I know that Miami's not the greatest road team. I think the last time they were on the road, they were in Toronto, lost that game outright. So that scares me a little bit, but Miami is green. Right now, they are green. Everything is green right now. Offensively, last 5 games, scoring 121 points per game, that's number 3. Effective field goal percentage is 57%, that's number 9. Turnover percentage, not turning the ball over, number 5. Offensive rebound rate, they're getting offensive rebounds, number 8. Free throw rate, going to the free throw line a ton, number 7. And net rating, they are plus 8.4 in their last 5 games, number 8. On the Detroit side, second worst defensive team in the NBA, third worst effective field goal percentage team, allowing teams to shoot 64%. Also, when you just kind of look at where Miami's scoring the basketball from, it's from the 3-point line, shooting 40% from the 3 over the last 5 games. That's number 8. Above the break 3, shooting 42%. That's number 3. In Detroit, actually worse than the Atlanta Hawks last 5 games from the 3-point line, allowing teams to shoot 44% from the 3-point line is what Detroit's doing. So, had some time to kind of fix things. I don't know if it's enough, though. I also think that Miami could just stifle this Detroit offense, especially without Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is not great anyway, but that's another, body for a Detroit team that really struggles to score the basketball, in my opinion. Miami probably won't do too much scoring in transition, but when I look at Detroit's offense versus Miami defense, especially with Miami having the revenge and being in Detroit, knowing how that game went the last time, it does kind of push me towards Miami. I think, looking at Detroit, they can shoot the 3-point shot. They shot terrible against Boston, but they were making some threes before that. They are shooting 41%, which can be an Achilles heel for Miami. Sometimes they can struggle with their 3-point defense. They're about middle of the pack over the last 5 games. Detroit's not really pushing pace. Doesn't really matter because Miami's a really good transition defense. But yeah, I like Miami here. I do think that they're the right side, minus the 4.5. Don't know if I'm going to end up playing it, though. This is the way I kind of feel about this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Let's see. Don't bet the Heat is favorite, Justin says. Yeah, I don't really bet the Heat as favorites either. That's what's holding me up. I think that they are the right side, though. I do think that they are the right side. We could say the same thing too, Justin, about the Pacers. Pacers were favorites yesterday as well. They did. They absolutely smoked the Pelicans. As a road favorite, they're 3-2 straight up, 2-3 against the spread, winning about 5 points per game. They have failed to cover their last 3. Didn't cover against the Pistons, didn't cover against the Hornets, didn't cover against the Raptors. I think that they get the job done today, though, man. I really, really do. The Pistons last time they were home dogs. Last couple times they were home dogs, got smoked by the Sixers by 15, got smoked by the Bucks by 21. So they've lost a couple of straight games at the crib as a home dog. Losing by an average of about 8 points per game so far. So, yeah, that's that. Tomorrow says hard to fade the Heat, but I think the opening was officially lined with how good the Heat have looked, with the Pistons getting blown out in their last 2 games. Yeah, the best of the number is gone. The 3.5 was the best of the number. Pistons could cover, maybe. They could cover. Yeah, they absolutely could. G. Harris says, I knew nobody was going to like Miami on the road today. G. Harris says can't lay points on the road with the Miami Heat, and the Pistons are high variance pass for him. Let's see. Alex says if it gets to like plus 6 or 7 for Detroit, I don't think it's going to get that big. Tomorrow says was curious how teams did after playing the Celtics this season. 16-7 against the spread, including 7-3 as a road dog. Okay. Miami team total over for Jose says. K rebounds, pass for Jalen. Home dogs off a road loss this season, 27-12 against the spread. Pistons a pass, probably a pass for GLB best. Yeah, I think Miami is the right side. All trends aside, I think Miami is the right side in this game. With just how it finished last game, and they're the much better team current form. So that's what I got there. This is the game that I'm probably not going too deep into. So the Bulls and the Raptors are at a pick total super high in this game. I think, honestly, if you want to bet anything, just take RJ Barrett. Probably a little sprinkle on his triple-double. The Bulls have been playing a little bit better defense. I think they could struggle in this matchup here. So real quick injury report, and that's one of the reasons I didn't want to break the game down, because I looked at the injury report yesterday. Torrey Craig is off of it for the Miami Heat. I'm sorry, for the Miami Heat. The Chicago Bulls. Terry is listed as questionable for Chicago, and Lonzo is probable. Vucevic did not play in the game on Friday against Charlotte. He is also listed as probable, but Zach LaVine is listed as questionable. I don't like that, for this game in general. Scotty Barnes continues to be out for Toronto, of course. Emmanuel Quickley and Bruce Brown, of course, have not played either. So, excuse me. Real quick on this one. This is a game I really do not want to bet. First matchup of the season between the two teams. 5-5 straight up last 10. The Bulls are 5-5 straight up, 6-4 against the spread. They are coming off a win and cover against Charlotte. They lost to the Sixers, lost to the Pacers before that. Didn't cover either. And they don't play again until Thursday. This is also first road game after 3 straight home games. For Toronto, first game back home since losing to Miami. They've had 3 days off of rest, 4 straight losses. They are we know that they're much more competitive at home. Only 3-7 straight up, but 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games, 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. Back-to-back unders. They've covered 3 straight games against Dallas, New York, and Miami. I kind of really want to get there with Toronto now that I think about it. They got a game against Brooklyn coming up, but not until Thursday. Let me see if I match the teams up on paper. I kind of feel like could be a sneaky under spot. I feel like Toronto isn't playing as fast without Scotty Barnes. Chicago has been a much better defensive team as of late, though. I will give them credit for that. I know when I was looking into this on Friday, they were top 10 defensive rated team over the last 5 games. Don't shoot the messenger. But they actually sixth best defensive rated team on the Chicago Bulls last 5 games, allowing just 108.2 points per 100 possessions. 4th in opponent effective field goal percentage. Not forcing a lot of turnovers, but limited offensive rebounds, which we know what Toronto want to do. The 11th in opponent offensive rebound rate and 8th in opponent free throw rate. So not sending teams to the free throw line. Toronto offensively really struggled 107.7 points per 100 possessions, but they played the much difficult schedule. We keep talking about that. They just played against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Dallas Mavericks, the Miami Heat twice, the New York Knicks. So they have played, I think, the much tougher schedule. But their offense is atrocious. Bottom 10 in pretty much every category. Actually not even getting a ton of offensive rebounds anymore. 17th in that rate, and that's where they were doing their best work. All right, so offensively, Toronto has really tried to attack the rim a lot. They're 5th in rim frequency. Chicago 4th in opponent rim accuracy, so they're doing a good job. Toronto is of getting back on the protecting the rim. Toronto not shooting 3-point ball well at all. Bottom 10 in 3-point shooting. They are 6th in frequency as far as getting out and running in transition. 10th in points scored per 100 possessions in transition. Chicago 4th best transition defense. Surprisingly enough, Chicago Bulls defense don't even go together. All right, so if we look at Chicago offensively, which I feel like they've taken a little bit of a step backwards as well, but they've been winning with their defense. Let's see how they match up with Toronto. Chicago 11th in points scored per 100 possessions, 8th in effective field goal percentage, doing a good job protecting the basketball, not getting any offensive rebounds, bottom 10 in free throw rate. Chicago just scoring at the rim, 9th in frequency, 10th in accuracy, corner 3, 3rd in frequency, 6th in accuracy, overall 3, 2nd in frequency, 15th in accuracy, and Toronto has not defended the 3-point line well, bottom 10 in 3-point shooting. Chicago is pushing pace, 13th in frequency, 9th in points scored per 100 possessions. Toronto allowing teams to push, bottom 10 in frequency for their opponent in transition, and they are giving up the 6th fewest points, though. So maybe this says Chicago. I know Toronto is going to be feisty, though. I think I'm going to stay off of this one. Anybody got any thoughts on this one? RJ Barrett, though, real quick. Let's look at RJ Barrett specifically at the crib. Going to stop my share and start my share real quick. Let's go to Outlier. Let's minimize me. Let's go RJ Barrett. We keep talking about RJ specifically at the crib. RJ been different at the crib this year. So let's just look at RJ points real quick. Do we want to look at his points? Points don't look good at all. He said at 25.5. Let's look at his rebounds and assists. Let's look at his whole points, rebounds, and assists. All right, so for the full season, about 43%. That's not good. But I bet you if we flip this to home, I bet you it looks better. Yep, just like that. 64%. 7 of his 11 games. You guys can see that right here. A couple bad games, but these were against 2 really good defensive teams, Dallas and OKC. Even though if you watched Dallas play defense last night, you wouldn't think that they're good. Look at this matchup. Look at the matchup stuff. Points allowed, this is the Bulls defense, 29th. Rebounds allowed, 28th. Assists allowed, 29th. This is a great matchup for RJ Barrett, specifically at the crib. Head-to-head, he's only played them one time. Last 10 games. Let's filter this to home games this season without Scotty Barnes. There we go. So points, rebounds, and assists for RJ Barrett. Only played 4 games so far this season, and he's up and over the number in 3 of the 4 games so far this season. When he goes over, he goes over. We know Chicago is going to play with pace. 50, 46, and 53 for RJ Barrett. I will be writing that down and adding it to my short list. RJ Barrett over 39.5 PRA. I'm not sure who they have to really guard him anyway, so I'll write that one down. All right, yeah, let's keep that there. Stop share, go back to share. Any comments here on this game at all? Raps, no bueno. Bulls 10-3 to their team total over on the road, LJ says. Raptors 10-3 against the spread at home. Yeah, they're a difficult team to fade at the crib. I agree with that. What do you think about Vucevic over his 2.5 assists? No thoughts at all, Jay. I haven't really been seeing him dish the rock. Merrill likes Giddey over his 6.6 assists today. What else? Hard to know what to do with all these injuries on the Bulls side. I do agree with that. I like the RJ play a lot. Killian says he gets active without Barnes in the lineup. I think I'm gonna stay there with this game. What up, Anthony? Appreciate you for tapping in. All right, let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we got Cavs and the Nets. This was the game that I actually had looked at cleaning the glass about. So we got a Cleveland team. Cleveland this is another game I didn't dive too deeply into. Cleveland start with the injury report. They get Evan Mobley back. He did not play in that game against the Wizards, and they barely even, I can say barely won, but they struggled. They didn't cover against the Wizards in that game. So they do get Evan Mobley back in this spot. Zaire Williams is out, of course. Cam Thomas remains out, and Dennis Schroeder, of course, is in Golden State. Looking forward to playing against the Memphis Grizzlies again after that little, dust up against the Grizzlies in Memphis the other day. So I went through and I was looking at this with looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Brooklyn Nets offense with Cam Thomas and Dennis Schroeder on the floor. This team was scoring 120 points per 100 possessions, ranking 87th in percentile over on cleaning the glass. That's really, really good if you guys don't know how to quantify these numbers that I'm talking about. 120 points per 100 possessions with Dennis Schroeder and Cam Thomas on the floor. If you subtract Cam Thomas and Dennis Schroeder, it goes down to 108.7. So that's 12 less points per 100 possessions with those two on the floor. And they're minus 7.3. So do Cleveland come in here and clean up the Brooklyn Nets and win this game by double digits? I think that they should. Now, will the Brooklyn Nets play super hard at the crib for Coach Fernandez? Absolutely. That's what they always going to do. And I guess that kind of leads me towards an under as well. The problem I have here with laying such a big number, the Cavs are 7-3 straight up, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're coming off back-to-back non-coverage loss last time they were on the road against the Miami Heat as 2.5-point favorites. That was last Sunday. So they have 2 days off rest here, beat the Wizards by 10 at the crib. They do got the Milwaukee Bucks, but that game is not until Friday. And then the Brooklyn Nets, first game back home for them after losing to Miami, to Memphis in their last game. They scored 119 points but gave up 135 in that game, and they play in Toronto on Thursday as well. All right, so that sets the stage for the game. As far as the matchup, I feel like if you like the Brooklyn Nets, you really like Brooklyn to be able to shoot the three-point shot. Cleveland has been one of the better defensive teams, and I'm going to put some numbers to that in a second. But that's been their Achilles heel. But last 5 games, they've actually been really good defensively. Brooklyn is 21st in points scored per 100 possessions, 16th in effective field goal percentage, 17th in turnover rate, 26th in offensive rebound rate, and 19th in free throw rate. We expect these numbers to drop. They're losing by average of getting outscored by about 10 points per 100 possessions over their last 10 games, over their last 5 games. We expect those numbers to drop without Schroeder out there. Cleveland has been top 5 defensive rated team, forcing the 9th most turnovers, and doing everything well except putting teams on the free throw line. But the Brooklyn Nets aren't shooting a ton of free throws. The Brooklyn Nets are continuing to shoot the three-point shot. 4th in three-point frequency, 13th in three-point accuracy, 8th in above the break three-point frequency, 10th in above the break three-point accuracy. So that's where if you like the Brooklyn Nets, you're gonna need them to be able to make threes. The problem, like I said, is that Cleveland, while on the full season, they're 24th in opponent three-point accuracy at 38%. Last 5 games, they're 5th. And it also helps when you play against the Washington Wizards, who can't shoot a three to save their lives. 5th in three-point accuracy, 2nd in opponent three-point frequency. So they've been really good at locking down the three-point line. Brooklyn does not play. They do play fast, 10th in frequency, but they're actually scoring the 2nd fewest points in transition frequency. So they're not scoring, even though they are pushing pace. The Cavs defense is 7th in frequency, 20th in accuracy there. And I feel like Cleveland's offense is taking a little bit of a step back. But getting Jared Allen back should help tonight. I don't think I'm going to play this spread regardless, but let's just look at Cleveland offense against Brooklyn defense. Cleveland is 7th in 7th best offense, 11th in effective field goal rate. They're not turning the ball over, 2nd in turnover rate, turnover percentage. Getting to free throw line at the 10th highest rate. in opponent 3-point frequency. That's not good. Not good at all if you like the Cleveland Cavaliers here. As far as pushing pace, Cleveland's really slowed down a lot. They're 21st in frequency, 6th in points scored via transition. And the Brooklyn Nets, as we know, one of the worst transition defenses in the NBA, 28th in frequency, 24th in points per 100 possessions. So this feels like Cleveland should be able to go up and over their team total. They probably could cover this spread, is what I'm thinking as well. I don't know if I want to lay 10 with them on the road. I do kind of feel like they're the right side, though. I think we're going to start to see the Cavaliers the Brooklyn Nets really start to struggle. You can get a 9.5, -115 on BetMGM. That's the way I would play it. I don't think Brooklyn's going to be able to keep this game within 10. I feel like they're missing a tad bit too much offense. Maybe even Cleveland early. I know that they've been pretty good in the first half specifically. I'll write down Cleveland -9. I do feel like they're the right side. -the 9.5. Cleveland first half as well. I feel like they could, establish themselves early in this game as well. First half is -5.5 on Caesars right now. It's the best number I see. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Tomorrow says, I just want to auto fade the Nets. No Cam Thomas, Schroeder gone. That's how I feel too. The numbers support it too, Tomorrow. The defensively, this is what they were doing. If you remember when the Brooklyn Nets were a really solid 3-point shooting team, and their defense was pretty good. Like they were, playing some good defense. Defense is falling off. Offense is also falling off. They actually bottom 10 in offensive rating last 10 games. So makes sense. Cam Thomas gone. Gonna get traded before the game starts. Oh man, we'll see how that goes. What's up, GD3 says team total under 104.5 for the Nets. That's a tad bit too low for me, but I can see that. Jared Allen, jump again to get a double in this spot. Kendrick says I took Cleveland -9.5. He says I just like to be ahead of the bad teams before they start to dive. Yeah, I think it could be a spot where they absolutely get smoked here in this game as well. I worry about wanting to take the team total over for the Cavs, just because I'm not sure if they'll need to score. What is their team total? Their team total is 114.5. They could beat this Brooklyn team without scoring 115 points. Kind of like the Celtics yesterday. Celtics team total went up to 125. They didn't even get close to 125. Still won the game and didn't cover it, but won the game very, very easily yesterday. So I worry about taking the Cavs team total over in this spot against the Brooklyn Nets. This matchup does kind of remind me of that one. All right, let's see if we can get through one more game real quick. Nuggets and the Kings. Like I said, I didn't really like the slate today. Nuggets and the Kings. Man, I'm not sure what to do with this one either. Nuggets did look really good in their last game. Real quick injury report. We got Jamal Murray listed as game time decision. I think he's more probable. Yeah, he's probable. And then Christian Braun is truly listed as questionable in this game. And then on the Sacramento side, I think they're going to be pretty healthy. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Sabonis, Kevin Huerter is the only person on the injury report. He is listed as I think as doubtful. Left AC joint sprain, so he probably won't play, which does affect the depth on this roster, especially with Trey Lyles already being out on the Sacramento side. So we got a 13-10 Denver Nuggets team versus a 13-13 Sacramento team. Man. So, excuse me. This line open at a pick is since shifted towards Denver minus the 1.5. The total open 237.5. Looks like it's right about 237.5. This is the first matchup of the season. Denver won one game last season in this matchup. Sacramento won 2 games in this matchup last season. Sacramento covered both spreads. Denver covered the game that they won as well. Denver has been super inconsistent as of late. They are coming off back-to-back wins against the Atlanta Hawks and the Clippers. They do have 2 days off of rest here. They smoked the Clippers in that last game, 120-98. back-to-back covers as well. And no look-ahead spot. They play again on Thursday in Portland. The Sacramento Kings, 3 straight wins. They beat the Spurs, beat the Jazz, beat the Pelicans. 3, pretty easy teams in my opinion. San Antonio, I think they beat without Victor Wembanyama. They didn't cover against the Kings, against the Pelicans in that last game. We were on the over in that game, and they couldn't score the basketball. Also played some really good defense in that game as well, and kind of limited the New Orleans Pelicans in that spot. They play again on Thursday as well. They host the Lakers. So if I go through this one and look, as much as I would want to play over, I kind of feel like, oh man, I feel like the total's a tad bit too high for me to play over. Denver is only playing one way right now, and that's super fast. To put some numbers to that, Denver is 13th in points scored per 100 possessions, 7th in effective field goal percentage. They are turning the ball over, having some trouble protecting the ball, which plays into the Kings' weak strength on the defensive end. Their 5th in turnover rate are the Kings. Denver 4th in free throw rate, which also is a deficit for Sacramento because they're sending teams to the line at the 5th highest rate over the last 5 games. Denver attacking the rim a lot, 1st in frequency over the last 5 games, 12th in accuracy. Kings doing a pretty good job of protecting the rim. Denver not shooting the 3-point shot well, actually bottom 10. They are pushing pace 4th in frequency, but 27th in transition transition offense, so not scoring a lot in transition, even though they are pushing pace. Sacramento 11th in opponent frequency, 15th in opponent point score per 100 possessions. And Sacramento is also doing a terrible job guarding the 3-point line. Teams shooting a ton of threes against them and shooting about 40% above the break 3, which pushed them bottom 5. So the strength for the Denver Nuggets, the weakness for the Denver Nuggets is shooting the 3, but they shouldn't be able to make a ton of threes because they don't shoot it well, even though Sacramento doesn't defend it well. Noted. Okay. Looking at Sacramento offensively versus Denver defensively. Oh, man. So Sacramento, 2nd best offense over the last 5 games. Number 1 in turnover rate, not turning the ball over at all. 15th in effective field goal percentage, 13th in offensive rebounding rate, 9th in free throw rate. So they are getting to the free throw line a lot, but Denver is actually fouling at the 6th fewest rate last 5 games. Sacramento is shooting a lot of shots in the mid-range. Number 1 in long mid-range frequency, number 2 in mid-range frequency in general. And that's been a deficit for the Denver defense. They're actually bottom 10 in opponent mid-range accuracy over the last 5 games. Sacramento, another team not shooting the 3 well, 28th in above the break 3 frequency and 28th in overall 3 frequency. Not shooting the 3s a lot and not shooting them well at all either. And Denver's been really good against the 3-point shot. 11th in corner 3 accuracy, opponent corner 3 accuracy, 10th in above the break opponent 3 accuracy, and 9th overall in 3-point defense over the last 5 games. Sacramento pushing the pace, middle of the pack, 15th in frequency, 5th in points scored per 100 possessions in transition. Denver not doing a good job of getting back, 20th in frequency and 21st in points given up via transition per 100 possessions. All of this kind of makes me think under. Sacramento last 5 games are averaging about 232 points per 100 possessions, and Denver's last 5 games are averaging about 222 points per 100 possessions. Real quick, let's just look at pace numbers last 5 games. I may get hit with an under. Neither team shooting the 3 well. Both defenses playing a little bit better. Last 5 games, the Sacramento Kings are 15th in pace. Denver is 2nd in pace. Don't like that at all. You need Sacramento to be able to get back here. All right, so let's look at Sacramento. Let's look at Kings home games and with a high total, 235 or higher. 2-1 to the under are the Kings as the at home with a total of 235 or higher. Nuggets on the road with a total of 235 or higher. 2-1 to the under as well. Went over against the Hawks, under against the Wizards, and under against the Lakers. Nuggets, 0-2 straight up, 0-2 against the spread, coming off a home win when they're on the road in the next game. Okay, I'm just thinking it out. I'm thinking it out loud. I like under, though. I think I do like under. This total is super high. I think this one can stay under the total. 238 right now. Denver, Sacramento, under 238. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but I like that. I put that on my short list. Only place that got a 238 right now. Everybody else got a 237.5 or 236.5 on ESPN Bet. So that's that game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. We'll go over. It's a player prop that I like in the next game that I want to talk to you guys about. Justin says he played over 237.5. So opposite side there. Any day the Nuggets and the Kings are scheduled, put all your money in your pocket and enjoy stress-free basketball. KJ says. Got to be Kings money line, right? Nuggets not that strong on the road. The Nuggets have actually, let's see. Nuggets are a profitable team on the road. Well, they're 6-6 straight up on the road, 5-7 against the spread, winning by average of 4 points. They are just 1-3 against the spread on the road in their last 3 games. This isn't a divisional game, but it is a conference game. So let's see. Conference games and on the road, they are 3-4 straight up, 4-3 against the spread. So not a lot there. Kings at home are 6-7 straight up, 5-8 against the spread. If it's a conference game, they're 5-5 straight up, 4-6 against the spread, 8-2 to the over. Don't like that. God, 7 straight overs in this spot for the Kings. Damn, I don't like that at all. Don't like that at all. Jose likes under though. Feels like a king spot. Klein says, I agree with that. Thought on Jamal Murray points. Think it's possible he could get 30 here. Thoughts, please. Thanks. I kind of feel like, you know what? I got to look into it, Blue Man. I'm not going to just make anything up. But I kind of feel like guards do play well against the Kings. The Kings have been playing a much better defense, though. I think we got to talk about that. I know that Mike Brown been kind of stressing defense. You never know when they're going to take the night off, but they have been playing a little bit better defense. They held the Pelicans 3.5 points under their team total, held the Jazz 15.5 points under their team total, held the Grizzlies 7.5 points under their team total, and the Rockets 3 points under their team total. So their last 5 games, the only team that went up and over their team total was the Spurs. And they still smoked the Spurs in that spot as well. So they have been playing a little bit better defensively over their last 5 games. I remember being on them against the Rockets, and they held the Rockets to 111 points. And this was coming off a game where they gave up 127 against the Spurs. So yeah, take with that information, do what you want. I kind of feel like the Jazz give up the Kings give up a bunch of points to the guard position when they're not playing defense, but I'm not sure. Man. Under or nothing for this one, Tavon says. I kind of like the under as well. Nuggets makes no sense right now. It's Kings for sure. Just hope they don't lay an egg. Tomorrow got a query for me right here. He says if a team has at least 2 days rest and they are on a winning streak of at least 2 games, and the line says that they need to okay, so the line is within 2 in general. So super tight line is under. Okay, tomorrow I like it. I like under line in this spot too. This season is 1-1, but overall it's 79, 50, and 5 to the under. So that's about only going over 38.8% of the time, which means that's under 62.2% of the time. 61.2% of the time. So I like under here. It kind of makes sense the way I went through it as well. Nuggets are not good on the road, Tavon says. Kings spot. Denver playing bad in back-to-back blowouts. They're not playing that bad, though. Justin says super high for a reason, in his opinion. Isaiah, I can't pick a side with conviction, bro. Like, like when I come on here and handicap the games, if I feel super strong, you gonna know about it. Because I want people to tell the play. I'm not gonna come on here and just say, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna hammer this spot," when I'm not. Like I'll be honest with you guys, man. I'm not. If I don't feel super strong, I'm not gonna tell you guys I feel super strong about it. I don't want people putting their money on bets that I don't feel super strong about, that I don't have I'm not invested in. So I'm not picking a side if I'm just going through the games. Like I typically like to go through all this the night before, know what I like, and then like kind of think about it a little bit more throughout the day, and then I'll play it as the injury reports come out. So yeah, I'm not just gonna pick a side. Lingowick says Porter over his rebounds. The Kings are locked right now. I like the Kings in the under. I hate that word lock, but we'll see. Mark says other side. Nuggets -1. Charles says if it ain't a Jokic prop, I want nothing to do with the Nuggets. Yeah, you're gonna have to. The Kings have defended the rim well recently. They have defended the rim well recently. I like under in this spot though. I do like under 238. Last game is the Jazz and the Clippers. Not a game that I dug into, but there is something I want to share with you guys that I do think is a profitable look here. So go back to Outlier. Again, if you guys are interested in checking out Outlier, you can. Where did Outlier go? You guys can check out Outlier. The promo code, you can get 7-day free trial just by using the promo code in the description of the video for people that are interested. But here's what I was thinking in this last game. Not a bet that I placed yet either. But you got a Jazz team that we know is really, really poor defensively. So why wouldn't we just go straight to James Harden and look at his assist prop? I know he's been struggling recently. The Clippers in general have been struggling recently, but this feels like a primetime bounce back spot for James Harden here. So assist line is 8.5 and it's plus money right now. You guys can see 8.5 here, plus money. Hold on. All right, 8.5 here, plus money here. On the season, James Harden is only 8.5. He's only cashed 44% of the time. We look at the Jazz defense against against assists allowed. You can see that they're averaging they're allowing the third most assists per game against point guards, allowing the fourth most assists per game. So you love to see that. James Harden, we can look at his home games. Only over in 6 of the 14 so far. You can see that he has struggled in the last 2, but he's playing against much better defenses in Minnesota and Portland. Portland defense not that great, but they can play great at times. We can also narrow this down, take it off home games, and just look at head-to-head matchups for James Harden. 11 and 15. So when he goes over by a lot. This 11 came earlier this season when they played on November the 17th. You can see that there. And you can see the potential assists as well. So 22 potential assists, 21 potential assists. He only had 4 in this game for whatever reason, but that game was in Utah, and this game is going to be in LA tonight. I just think that, just based off the matchup, James Harden finds the shooters today. When I look at the injury report for this game, I think the only person that is, Norman Powell isn't on it. His three-point prop is probably also a good look. The Jazz don't defend the three-point line well. You got Chris Dunn, you got Zubac, you got Nicholas Batum now that Terrence Mann is out. No Derrick Jones Jr., so I'm not laying the points here. This line did open at 9.5 and it's come down. Can't say that I want to take points with the Jazz, but I can't lay with the Clippers with how poorly they've been playing recently either. But I think James Harden, just to kind of stay off the spread, I think James Harden could be the best player prop in this game. I do think that he could be. So real quick, let's just go back here. And just look at the matchup very, very quick. Like I said, I don't really like the card too much today, if I'm being honest. This will be the second matchup. The Clippers did win 116-105. I think the if I remember this game correctly, the Jazz won the second leg with back-to-back 3rd and 4. They were laying 9.5 in that spot as well. This total has come up. That one was 221.5, and it did go under. This total is 224.5. But the Jazz should be healthy here. I don't think the Jazz have anybody on the injury report. They did get healthy in that last game and took the Suns, to the brink almost. They end up losing the game by 8, but Jordan Clarkson is listed as game time decision. He's truly questionable with the plantar fasciitis. He did play in the last game though, but Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Walker Kessler, Keontae George. Like, I kind of feel like they got enough to keep it close. I just don't want to take points with them on the road. They can get absolutely smoked. The Clippers need a confidence boost and win as well. Jazz have lost back-to-back games to Sacramento and Phoenix. Clippers have lost 3 straight games to the Timberwolves, to the Houston Rockets, and the Denver Nuggets. So they get a much, better, much bigger step down in class. They also failed to cover on their last 3 games as well. So I kind of feel like this could be a really good spot. The Clippers got the Dallas Mavericks up next. They're probably going to get smoked in that game on Thursday in Dallas. And the Jazz got the Detroit Pistons as they start a nice little East Coast road trip after playing the Clippers in this game tonight. They play again on Thursday as well. So, I kind of like Harden here. If I like anything at all. I like Harden because Chris Dunn is going over his props, Lingowick says. Jay Arias says, took Harden rebounds and assists over 11.5 last night. Shot up to 13.5 this morning. I still think he could get that as well, though, Jay Arias. I like that a lot. Laurie Markin over his 2.5 threes. James Harden over his 13.5 points and assists for Smoke Dog. Sean likes Walker Kessler for a half a 3 if it's up. Coach said they're going to slip those into the game during the last press conference. Okay, I like that. Might add that RJ points, rebounds, and assists to a little 2-leg. Yeah, I got James Harden and RJ Barrett written down as my favorites for today. James Harden over his assist prop, over 8.5. I know he hasn't been cashing it, but I think it's a nice spot for him. And RJ is my favorite player props. Bob says he cashed with the Wizards team total yesterday. Glad you hit that. Mel says, I'm feeling 2 or 3 upsets tonight. Who you like on the upsets, Mel? Let me know. Charlotte money line. Do lean Charlotte. Do lean Charlotte for sure. I do think that they could be the right side. Jerry says he hit with that Wizards team total. He says they hit every day. We keep talking about it. D-Book says he likes the Jazz plus 8.5. Collins rebounds and assists. I would need to look a little bit more into it, Jalen. Not sure what Collins. It's not even Collins. I know Collins has been good. I'm not sure how. I would need to look and see what the Clippers are doing. Rebounding wise. No Terrence Mann and no Terrence Mann and no Derrick Jones Jr. Does deplete the team a little bit. Like, I think that's one of the reasons they've been getting smoked, because both of those guys have been out recently. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I don't like the card a lot, but if I'm betting something today, it's Miami minus the 4.5. I do like that number a lot. I know people not gonna like it. I get it, but I do like that a lot. I haven't played it yet, so it should not be in green. This should be in red. Not an official play because I have not pulled the trigger on it yet, but that is what I'm thinking that I like. Also got James Harden here. We'll add Philly team total under 109.5. They can win that game without scoring 109 points in my opinion. But we'll see what happens with LaMelo. I think he's important for the game. RJ Barrett, I would probably just play him up and over his 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists against the Chicago Bulls today. I do lean Cleveland minus the 9.5 if I had to bet that game. I think Brooklyn is due for some regression. Denver, Sacramento, not sure if I'm going to get there on anything, but that under sounds really, really good. You just need Sacramento to play some defense, in my opinion. And I think these would be the top looks for today. If I had to put them in order, it'd probably be I like the Miami minus the 4.5. I think that would be number 1. The Philly team total, I'm going to wait on the news for LaMelo Ball to see if the total goes up. In general, you could get a team total under for Philly at a little bit lower of a number. RJ up and over his 39.5 will be probably the next one, and then James Harden, and then the Denver Sacramento under, and Cleveland minus 9.5 will probably just be an honorable mention. But that's what I'm liking for today, man. Hopefully this show was helpful for you guys. Resources, you can check out all of the resource codes for everything that I use to handicap the games in the description of the video. 50% off on jaXon and Moneyballer. Referral link for Outlier as well if you guys are interested in checking out some player props. They got size and totals on there as well. And then, of course, Odds Jam for the Sportsbook screen page. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are betting tonight. I will catch you guys tomorrow for NBA Cup. No games on Wednesday, so we get the day off. Super excited about that. I need a day off. But yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Talk about Cup games. Best of luck on all your action for tonight. I'm out.